never say that they don't want to roar, so why do we deny our own light inside? Maybe we were made from stardust, so shine.
Peace and blessings, family, and welcome to Labors of Love podcast. We are here to inspire, uplift, and enlighten. Each episode, we will be hearing from Black midwives, doulas, and other traditional childbirth supporters who have dedicated their lives to being of service to Black mothers and families in all aspects of the motherhood journey. This evening, I have the privilege of speaking with Victoria Leanna. Victoria is the co-founder of Cosmic Sexuality in Youniversal Meditation. She is also an international 3-time published author and spiritual guide who, through self-practice, mastered meditation and began to teach the art to others around the world. She currently guides and teaches a large demographic of women and men worldwide within the realm of cosmic sexuality, relationships, and spirituality. Victoria holds a degree from the University of California-Berkeley. Victoria's work with others began on a deep soul and life foundational level. Through her work with individuals in the prison system over the span of 4 years, she worked with others to help them get back on the path and get a second chance through the OR program and case management work. Victoria is also a writer who began writing professionally during her undergrad years and published her first article on human rights while interning at the National Lawyers Guild. Many of her articles and writings to follow were on human rights and development. Ultimately, her writing focus and passion led her to writing about spiritual and personal development, love, and relationships. Victoria Leanna is the co-founder and pioneer of bringing the ancient understanding of cosmic sexuality back to the forefront of practice and available for all to experience as a path to spiritual development. She has co-authored books specifically on cosmic sexuality and developed tools to guide and help others master their sexual energy. Thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so grateful this evening to have this conversation. It's been a long time coming, and we're just going to jump right in.
Yes.
Good. So, Victoria, prior to becoming a mother yourself in the work that you do, what was your messaging growing up as a child? Did you see pregnant women? Were you at all involved in the process? Did you have any awareness? What was that like for you?
Yes. So, I mean, I come from a big family already. So, like, my mom comes from a big family. So, they're, in the lineage, the women have always been used to creating and birthing many children into the world. But I've always said to myself, and my family knows this to this day, that I've always had a strong spirit about what I know that I want out of life. And so, from a young age, I always just said, I don't know if I want children. And that was like a very real conversation for me because I feel like for so many women, it's like an automatic thought that this is the life path. That when you get on your own, you may marry, you may not, but some point in your life, there's a child that comes in. But this process of wanting to be a mother and birthing yourself into a mom is a process that nobody talks about, but it's a very real one. And you have to be ready for that spiritually. You have to be ready for it physically. And so there's no education around that process. There's just education around the structure of family and what is expected from a life path if you do choose union. And it's just a conversation that needs to be had because in a sense, you're in a very deep way dying to aspects of yourself to create and birth something new, right? Which is a child. And that process is very real. It's when you're on the spiritual path, you already understand that there's a coming into your wholeness, into your oneness with source, which is an idea where we leave behind aspects of the ego. But when you go through motherhood, it goes even deeper because the idea that comes into place of sacrifice. And I don't feel that, and I don't use that word in my vocabulary anymore at all, because I don't feel that being a mother requires sacrifice from your own life path. I believe that it requires dedication and commitment to be a guardian. But I don't believe that it should be at odds with your own existence. And many women don't want to have that conversation. But if they did, they would probably be a lot more at peace with their life and rather feeling like they're juggling a million things because they're in this sacrificial stance of I have to kill myself to take care of my family, rather than no, like, my family, I chose this path, I chose a family, and if I'm choosing more spiritually, that means I have to then expand my container to carry that more. But I'm still within that container. I didn't throw myself away and create this separate container where that's now the focus. Like, I'm still within this of what I created.
Mm, mm, mm. So that's powerful. And again, like you said, it's not something that's talked about often enough. We like to focus on, some of the brighter or the joys of, but there is absolutely an aspect that, we need a safe space to say, like, no,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
scared, or I'm
Yeah.
depressed, or I am whatever, so that can be addressed and, like you're saying, move through and, like, looked at in a different perspective.
Yeah.
So where did this understanding come from for you? Was it something that you acquired prior to becoming a mother, or is it something that developed later in your path?
I mean, it definitely was already there before I chose to become a mother. Like I said, I knew from a very early age that I would choose my life in a very specific way, in the way that I wanted it to. Spiritually, I had a connection to my own inner being, and that was my guiding force.
Mm,
And that's what it comes down to when you choose to be a mother, is just spiritual sovereignty. And what I mean by that is there's so many different ideas of, even within the birthing process, right?
mm,
If you subscribe to the ideas or the pressures of people around you, whether it's what your partner wants, what your family wants, what society wants, like, for example, if people have different ideas just along with the birthing process itself, whether you want a free birth, whether you want a hospital birth. And I'm like this, if we all have the size shoe that we wear, right? My shoe size might be different from yours. It might be smaller, might be bigger. Even if it is the same, our styles might be different. I might not rock with the same style you rock with. You might not rock with the same style I rock with, right? But if we have that knowing that we have the right to choose our shoes that we wear day to day, why will we not choose the aspects of our life in something so big like motherhood?
mhm,
So we don't think about it, though. Like I said, it's just so programmed into us
mhm,
in this nurturing space that we're supposed to give birth. But birth comes about many ways. It comes about spiritually, it comes about through creation of your birth and your purpose in life. So it really just comes down to knowing yourself and actually knowing what you want in life. So it's interesting. I've always kind of attracted to groups of women that kind of had the same, like,
mhm,
fiery spirit.
mhm,
But I had a friend who's very dear to me, and I remember a conversation with her, and she said, some women are very clear on needing a man and needing a family, but I know that my husband is source, and through source, I'm birthing the world. Like, my children are within the world. It's the world, so meaning her purpose and her children is whatever God put her purpose into the world to be.
mhm.
And so she was like, I don't need to be a mother because through my purpose, I'm mothering other people. So
Absolutely.
it's very powerful, just understanding, like, really what you want, and
Mhm,
how you, if you do have that desire to nurture, to be a mother, if it has to be in this traditional way through childbirth, or if it's in many other ways, so just being very clear with your own spirit and your own source of what it is that you actually want to experience on this plane, because all the experiences that we choose are choosing.
mhm,
Source doesn't wake up and go, hey, this is yours. This is what you have to do, right? um, Other than the call of your soul, if it's something like on pertaining to your soul, right?
mhm,
But source doesn't go, hey, I have this agenda for your life. You choose what you want to experience. And that's what it comes down to, is just being bold enough, and outspoken enough to say whether or not this is in your path. Because especially when you go to link up in union with someone, you want to make sure your ideals are the same. If they're expecting this of you and that's not part of your path, like, you need to understand that before you throw yourself into that fire of expectation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, you said so much and dropped so many gems. And I feel like everything that you said can impact anyone who's listening, whether you are a female and you're talking a woman, or a birthing person who's looking to become, engage in this experience. If you're a male and you're listening, like,
Mhm.
what you're saying is a universal understanding of understanding who you are, what you want, what your purpose is, what your connection is, all of those things. So, and what it is that you do, what was the motivation for you on this path? And was it any life experience or something that kind of like was a catalyst for change or focus in this purpose of helping other people, assisting them in their own evolution?
It just naturally came about. I just understood it as part of my path through the work that I was doing. I do believe that if you're going through a path where it involves a lot of deep inner work and you're documenting it naturally, that it usually comes out that it's for not just yourself but others as well. So this became my path, like the work of cosmic sexuality in partnership with Shalom, which we founded, was our path before we taught it. We mastered it, we mastered the work, and then we realized that even before this, that everybody comes to a point on their path where they're having to figure out this area of their existence, of understanding how their sexuality plays a role and how they interact with the world and themselves. Um, their partnership. And so really just walking each other through that process as a guide and as a support to say, hey, there's this possibility out there in the universe for you to achieve it. You don't have to go about your path in this way of feeling confused or not having a sense of guidance. And we all have that inner guidance within ourselves, right? But just that mirroring aspects outside of us in the world, in the universe, when it's reflected to you, is so powerful because the seeds that it plants and what it allows to bloom within someone. So just that passion and fire that source put there, that was like, okay, this is this is your work. When I was talking about earlier, when like, source won't ever force you to do something, but when that's something having to do with your soul and it's burning, and you can't help but it to come out, that's what it was. More so for us is just this deep knowing that was seated, that this is the work that is needed on the planet at this time, because everything is so hyper sexualized, and it's sexualized in the direction to no end, or to no understanding of what to do with this energy. But it's played on, it's used in life, but it causes so much confusion and turmoil for many people behind the scenes when they're just trying to integrate it into their spiritual path. So just being that guidance, being that mirroring, being that possibility for others to know that it is possible, that the work is there for them if they're ready to commit to this deeper aspect of themselves, of source within them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned something, and I know we've spoke about it in the bio, but is there like a brief explanation, because cosmic sexuality is so vast and it interconnects to every aspect of life, and especially with what we're talking about now with union and bringing forth life. And I feel like that is significant to the foundation of what
Mhm.
a healthy union looks like, right? Like, to bring forth life into the world, what that connection, the balance, all of those things looks like for that to be successful in a sense. So, can you give us a brief understanding of what is cosmic sexuality?
Yes, so the cosmic sexuality is the higher workings to understand your sexuality in relation to your spiritual path. But it is a very simple path. The reason why we chose the word cosmic is because people can choose at this point in time of their existence how they identify on this earth. But regardless, when you get to the grander scale of it, we're all cosmic beings. We came from the cosmos. That's undeniable. There's source, there's cosmos, everybody, that's undeniable. So
Mhm.
that's what the framework means, that this applies to anyone, because we honor and recognize that people may have varying levels of um, ways that they subscribe to the world, whether through religion or consciousness. But we all can agree that we are a cosmic existence, right? We have this field within us that even goes beyond the idea of a soul or beyond consciousness, just the energy makeup of our being. We all have energy. It can be studied in science. It's known in science. We all have this energetic system within us. So if we all have the same energetic system within us, that the same path to this wholeness of your sexuality and your spirituality is possible for you. And that's why we came to the idea of approaching it that way, because we want to eliminate, when you're healing and you're going deeper into your wholeness, you want to eliminate any barriers for you feeling like you can't achieve something. And that's what this work is about. It's an honoring and knowing that it is possible for you, regardless of where you identify your place in the world, your place in these systems, that it is possible for anyone and everyone, because we all have the same energetic makeup.
Yes, yes. No, that is so powerful, and it absolutely has been a significant role in my healing journey. The understanding and the introduction to cosmic sexuality. So, can you share what it is that the work that you do specifically? I know you work a lot with women. There's also like even the aspect of identifying a mate and how we show up authentically to do that. Can you share some of the offerings that you have?
Yes. So, of course, Cosmic Sexuality, I'm the co founder, and myself and Shalom Melchizedek founded Cosmic Sexuality together. And as we just spoke about, that work is specifically dealing with your spiritual path in relation to your sexuality. So, that is like my primary focus at this time in terms of my spiritual work. But I also work with a large demographic of women. So, I offer other things as well. Like I have attracting a partner, but honestly, it's about the alignment. Traction is just a word that I use because it's understood by many, right? But the work of attraction is through deeper alignment, which brings you back to your spiritual path ultimately. But even if you don't have a spiritual path, it just brings you back to your source. Because when you're trying to reflect a relationship outside of you and manifest it, it's only going to reflect to the degree of which you've done it within yourself. So that work that I do with women is to help them understand and really, really go deep into that path. It is a path of deep devotion. And I say it was a deeper path of devotion to source within me. But again, I don't want to make it limiting to anyone. It's a deep path of devotion. But it does require you to get crystal clear on what it is that you want for yourself, what you want to experience while you're here. And it is, for me, I say personally, this is my own personal subscription, but my guide is Christ, is Yeshua. And I went through the path of marrying. People think I'm crazy when I say it, but I say I married Yeshua before I even had a partner, because I needed to understand the depth of love beyond someone's body, beyond my body, beyond a man's body, beyond the physical. And that was the deepest love form that I could go to, that I knew personally and felt personally. And that for me shifted my path in a major way, just beyond words that I could even speak. That was really my path. I spent a lot of my time just deeper in devotion. There was just a period in my life where that's all I did. I literally left my job in LA. I left the acting industry. I left behind like everything that I was working on that time, because I understood there was a higher path for me to walk, and I would need to go within myself to understand what that looked like outside of me. But I understand, and I and I tell people to trust their own self and what that looks like for them. But just I always knew that there is this higher aspect of love. But you get to a point, well, some people get to a point in their life, whether it's circumstance, whether it's conditioning from family, from relationships that you see, that it almost just feels numb to them. They know it's there, they're reaching for it. And I feel like intuitively as women, we can feel it because we have that nurturing energy. Our heart is naturally open, but it's almost like you're reaching behind this veil and you can't get to the other side. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm sorry, like about the language, but fuck
Yes.
this. I'm going on the other side of this veil.
Yes.
Like I need to know that this energy, that this existence within myself is real. And I didn't stop until I really went deep into this process with Source, with Yeshua, where
Mhm.
I could feel that energy and I felt it manifested inside of me and blossom inside of me, and then get to the point where I knew it was undeniable that the outcome of me understanding this love would manifest outside of me.
Mhm.
Um, so in doing that, I just wanted other women to know that this path isn't special to anyone. It's not unique to anyone. We all have the ability to connect to this source energy within us, and it should be connected to because that is your source. Beyond anything else, that is your source. That's where you came from. So if we're returning, because at some point we all do transition, we have to know the point we're returning to. And we have to walk ourselves through that path and what that is. And so just understanding that instead of walking through earth just feeling like you'll never touch that in what you feel in your heart, but you got to go deep. You got to go deep, you got to commit to it. You really got to say, all right, I don't care about the illusions in front of me, I don't care about what I experience. I know I'm beyond that. I know that I'm bigger than that. My soul is bigger than that. My source is bigger than that. My purpose is bigger than that. My path is bigger than that.
Mhm.
Is there for me to align into. Is there for me to return to.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. So, just so that we can just shed some light and give an example. Are there any stories or examples of working with someone or working with a couple where it exemplifies, like it's the epitome of why you do what it is that you do? Whether how they came out on the other side, how was there any instance or situation that was like, yes, that's why we do this.
Yeah, I mean, there's many. I feel like everyone that comes to the work and commits to it, that's the experience. But for me, I learned very early on this path never to attach to the work in the way where it can feed the ego. And
Right.
that's just for me personally because it's about source. It's not about me and my feeling of like I know because through source I know it's undeniable.
Mhm, mhm,
So if I polarize it like yes, yes, yay, no, that's your lineage, that's your birthright. You walked into it. I
mhm,
already knew that was the course of action.
mhm.
So I personally, when I work with people, I leave the work when I leave the work. So when the session ends, I leave it there. I leave it with them, within their source, within them, to integrate. And I
Yeah.
just give thanks for being able to be a guide on the path to be able to do this work and to say, hey, it's possible for you.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to do some horn tooting because I know that the people that I have interacted with that have also, come into this understanding and have whether they, did the certification course or if they got in the book or they came across the material. Everyone that I've connected with through this understanding has all kind of testimonies of just such favorable beneficial growth that takes place out of it. and,
Mm,
and sometimes it's not even that it's something that's just such a foreign concept that's been introduced. Sometimes just that confirmation and that validation, like I knew there was more. and
mm,
and connecting with this work, it validated everything that I knew was possible.
yes.
So I think that it's powerful and it's definitely something that we need to have discussions about. We need to have conversations. We can't talk about, pregnancy, labor, and delivery and not talk
Mm,
about the core of that, which is
mm,
alignment and being in,
mhm,
you know, alignment with yourself and then connecting to another, especially when it comes to bringing forth life into the world, especially when we're talking about healing as a community and working
mhm.
traumas and all of the things. Like this is the foundational stuff that is the solution. And it
Yeah.
really is just returning to the way.
Beautifully said.
Wow. So
Beautifully
that's
said.
why I'm just so grateful to have you on this platform and to be having this discussion and really wanting to get people to know, like, I want them to look you all up. I want you
Yeah.
to tap in. And there's so many other things that you're doing. So can we get into, the other things like the music and the work? Because that for me feels like a cultural shift when
Yeah.
we start putting substance back into the art and putting that out into the world. That there's a lot of change that happens with that. So can you go into some of your artistic endeavors with us?
Yes. So I just recently released my album called God is Time. And that was definitely a very powerful process for me. I put my life into my music. So a lot of my work is it has sexuality in it. I'm definitely for people expressing their sexuality in a way that represents union, that's fun, that's exciting, where you can feel the energy of it. Because I do believe when you feel that spark of cosmic orgasmic energy, that you go, oh, that's what it feels like, and it feels good to experience in a way where it doesn't exploit or try to manipulate or shift your energy energetically. So I always create from a place of love, and I use that energy that I feel and put it into my art. So my album, I'm very excited about being able to even come back to this aspect of myself and share it with the world. I've had an interesting path with music. I started a while ago writing for other people when I was living in LA back in like 2010.
Mm,
I think being able to come back to it, but then Source partnering with me and marrying me to a man that also has a path
mm,
with music, and us coming together. And through the union of our energy, being able to now like share it in this way too has been very beautiful. I'm very blessed in being able to share it that way. I do definitely feel that it is um, something that has been a blossoming for me, in the sense that as a woman and what we're speaking to, just not feeling limited in your world and just knowing that every aspect of what you want to create is possible. So me going into these other aspects of myself expresses that, and to go, hey, yes, I am a healer, I am a guide, but I also express myself through my voice, through music, because that's something that is resonatory in my soul at this time, and I want to share it with you too. So I definitely know there's many ways to reach someone. I've had someone in the past reach out to me and go, "Hey, they reached out to me for a course." And then I had posted something on my page, and they told me a song that I had released with Shalom called "Je ne sais quoi." They were like, "I didn't know that was your song. I heard it last year, and didn't even realize that that was your song until I came to your page." So I'm like, Source has a sense of humor because it's like a web. It connects. It's connecting all of these things that I do into one, and that's what I know at this point in my path. It's just not making anything separate from yourself, because when you start to compartmentalize yourself and separate yourself, you feel like you have to then explain yourself to the world, and shift how you are within each aspect of it. And I go, no, I'm myself within what I'm doing. So if I'm talking about sex, you're gonna get sex energy in these songs in a way that feels resonatory to me, but you're gonna get it across the board, right? It's the consistency that, like, this is how my soul's expressing itself, but the message is the same.
I love it. I do. And I truly appreciate you. Time flies so quickly
I know.
when you
I
talk.
feel like we could talk forever.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
thank you for what you're doing. Like, the work you're doing is powerful. These holding these spaces to have these conversations is so needed and so necessary. I'm just excited for the work that you have been doing, that you're going to do, that you're doing now. I'm just excited for all of it. So just thank you for thinking of me and having me here in this space with you. I honor you. I give thanks for your existence. And I'm just very, very thankful to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Can you, before you go though, please tell everyone, how do they get in touch with you? How do they connect? What's the best way?
So you can reach me on Instagram at Victoria Leanna underscore. My handles are the same on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. They're all Victoria Leanna underscore. We also can be reached at cosmicsexuality.com, where you'll find all of our courses, the Cosmic Sexuality 100-hour training course, the Attracting a Partner course, and my newer course, Becoming Cosmic Orgasmic, they're all on our website, so you can find us there. And those are the main ways that you can find me. My email is also on the website as well.
Excellent, excellent. And we will definitely put the links in the description so you won't have to try to figure things out as far as spelling. You just click on it and get right there to it. And I just want to again thank you so much for making the time. I know this has been a long time coming. What you've shared has been so valuable, and I know it's planting seeds and dropping gems. And for those who are listening, this is absolutely just so beneficial. If you could just get even a fraction of the understanding of what this work is that herself and her husband are doing, it is phenomenal. So I'm grateful for you to be on this platform and just to share just a little bit of what you have going on. And if you all found value, please share, share, share. Definitely go to the links, click on them. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's talk about
Yes.
dynamics and
Let's
alignment.
open the box. Let's
Yes,
talk about it.
yes, yes, yes. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. Peace and blessings, family.
Thank you.